Hello, and welcome to another episode of People and Profit. This one is a bit of a celebration for me personally and professionally. This year in 2023 marked a very significant life event for me, making 3 decades within not only the title industry, but being employed by Fidelity National Financial. Can you imagine what that feels like? For those of you who don't know me, or this is your first time tuning in, my name is Susan West, president of Fidelity National Title of Eastern Florida. It might go without saying that 30 years in the industry means I have learned countless lessons and I have many stories to tell. Today, I will share 3 things as concisely as possible that I have learned along the way. The first thing I'm going to share is stay in the details. And I know that that can be contrary to popular opinion because maybe on occasion I have been called a micromanager. I'm going to tell you just yesterday, I was sitting in front of my computer. I was watching some of the emails that were going back and forth between customers and our operations. And I knew exactly innately when to jump in and when to get involved. And with that being said, we set up a conference call. I had a manager, a salesperson, a closer on the call, and all I did was listen, ask questions, direct them in the right direction, and then gave them the tools that they needed to do to take care of it without me. So again, in that instance, my involvement made a difference. My involvement showed them a different perspective, a customer, a consumer perspective, and it also gave them tasks to do to get to the end where they needed to do for our client that was involved. It not only helped our salesperson, it helped our closer, and it helped our manager. A lot of growth was on that call, and I don't think I know it's because I continue to get in the details. A constant message I have with my team is include me, let me get involved, and let me help. So getting in the details, paying attention again to what's happening in my operation and knowing when to get involved, that's a dance. And I believe I'll credit my 30 years with knowing when to get involved and when not to get involved. But I do believe that people with my years experience at my level, one of the mistakes is a common mistake that is oftentimes applauded is that they're too high up to see what's going on below them. And I pride myself on knowing what's going on below me and not making people feel like they're below me. Also, how do I represent in the corporate world upwards, right, to my bosses, what's happening on the ground level if I don't spend time paying attention to the ground level? So stay in the details would be my first lesson that I have learned over the years. The other thing, the next thing, number 2, is business is personal. This is personal. How in the world could I have spent 30 years doing this and not make it personal? What does that mean? That means I care about people, right? And I care about profit. And I probably should have talked or spoken a little bit about the profit when I talked about the details. Knowing the numbers, the details, how much money are we spending, right? Down to the pennies. How much money are we making up to, right? How much money we're making in our operations. Keeping my eye on those things is really critical to the details. But when we talk about it's personal, the people that work for me matter. Somebody the other day very recently resigned. And in the conversation, she said, "You mean a lot to me." And I looked at her and said, "I might be a little bit different than you because our relationship to me means that 5 or 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago, however long it was that you were unhappy about the things that you just listed to me, relationship means you share them with me then." So I do think I'm a bit of a unicorn. I'm very, very open. I'm very honest. I believe in sharing. I believe in engaged communication and relationships. So it's all personal, but I've grown up in this business 30 years. I don't take it personally any longer, but it is personal. I believe in the person. We did a fitness challenge recently, and one of our lovely employees lost almost 30 pounds. And I engage with her regularly about how much that means to her and how much that means to her family and how much that means to her life. So engaging, knowing people. We could talk all day about the company picnic that we do for families, about the Christmas party we do for significant others, and about the awards program we have. But it's way more than that. It is personal. It is about the people, and it is about the profit. And that's my second lesson. So the third lesson is know who you are, be true to who you are while being willing to hear others' input. I believe that anyone that knows me could tell you that I am true to who I am. And I believe that anyone that knows me would tell you that I have personal and professional etiquette as a priority. I believe that there's professionalism that's required that I demand from myself and others in the workplace. And I also believe that people would tell you that no one ever wonders what's on my mind. So part of my value system that I have stayed true to is to be honest to a fault. I don't like that expression because I don't think it's honest to a fault, because I believe honesty is not a fault. And there is opportunity to always find the best way to articulate honesty, and the words that you choose matter. And the words that I choose are always honest. They always matter. And for the critics in the room, I don't always get it right, but I do know that people know that I have stayed true to those values. When I said one of the lessons is stay true to who you are, but be willing to hear what other people have to say, I can be moved in a direction when there's someone that's willing to, that demonstrates that they are more intelligent than I am, that demonstrates that they have a better idea than I have. With that being said, the morals, the foundation of who I am doesn't change, but the activities can change. My belief system can be tweaked in a way that moves it right or moves it left, whichever direction. So being willing to hear input, listen to input, stop in the moment to be present when people have something to say to you. I would say this also. I'm pretty convicted with the things that I believe, but when I have somebody in the room that believes differently than I do, you know what my go-to is? I ask a lot of questions. I want to hear more about their belief system, why they believe the way they do, why they live the way they do. So hear me now. Stay true to who you are. Make sure people know who you are, can really recite some key things about you, but be willing to accept and hear and be moved by other people's opinions. And I do think I have demonstrated that well. And all of this, these three items that I just mentioned, it leads me to my theory of 2020 vision, because I am a leader that pays attention to the details, that watches what's going on, that believes that I can stand firm while still listening to others, and believe that people and profit matter. I have 2020 vision because I not only see from my perspective, I see from the perspective of people around me. So those are my three winners that led me to 2020 vision. And I want to also say this. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Reframes People and Profit, because again, people and profit matter. Thank you for listening with me, Susan West. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I will see you next time.